Hello, horror heads, and welcome to the show. Well, this is it, the final movie in our October series. We hope you enjoy it. So after this, we have just one episode left for October, and it's going to be very different from what we're used to doing. We will be joined by a couple of friends, and we're going to be talking about some of our favorite Halloween things. It's going to be released on the 30th, so be on the lookout for that, and we think it's going to be a lot of fun. And now, let's get to it. My name is Sheldon, and this is The Graveyard Shift, Horror with Sheldon and Mike. Play the scary music. Thank you for joining us for part 4 of our Halloween That's Not Halloween series, the final movie for October. By now, of course, you know that all October we've been watching movies that take place on Halloween but are not part of the Michael Myers series. We decided to do that because almost every podcast and YouTube channel that covers horror movies does the Halloween movies in October, and we strive to be different. And yes, I said we, because no one wants to do the Graveyard Shift alone, especially on Halloween. Please say hello to everyone's favorite haunted attraction, my co-host, Mike.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Mike. How are you tonight?
Oh, exhausted after watching this movie.
What? Why would this movie exhaust you? I have no idea what you mean.
Oh, so you didn't watch it then? Okay.
Did I watch the wrong movie? Well, Mike, this is the final movie for October. We started off with one that was pretty terrible, another that was much better, but not without its flaws, one that was actually really good, and now this one. Why don't you tell everyone what we have watched for them today?
Well, we've come full circle on the crap-o-meter because we watched Hallow's End.
Yeah. You know, at first I thought maybe we should save Trick or Treat for the end to go out on a high note. But at that point I hadn't actually watched Hallow's End, so I didn't know what we were in for. Because
Well, it made sense to have it in threes because now it's the Trick or Trilogy.
yeah, it was pretty much that. Yeah, it was just a convenience of the names of the first 3 movies, but. I saw this. I was just buying some things at the dollar store, like picking up some batteries and crap like that. And when I was waiting in line at the cash, I just happened to be standing next to a movie bin. And this thing was sitting right on top. I pick it up and I read it, and I'm like, oh, this one takes place on Halloween, so that would actually fit our October theme. So I'm going to get this. I'll make a copy for Mike and send it off to him, and that'll be a nice way to end off our movie series. And, I paid $1 for it. And I feel like I very much overpaid. Mike, without going into much detail, what did you think of this one?
I had trouble getting to sleep, and after turning this movie on, I didn't.
My actual very first note on this movie was, hey, it's Spirit of Halloween, the movie. My 7th note on this movie is actually, hey, it's Dollar Store, the movie.
Yeah, this guy, whoever wrote this movie, probably spent one really good summer working at one really good autumn working at a haunted house. Mm-hmm. And just thought this would make a great movie because me and my friends.
Sounds awesome.
The drama!
I would love spending like an October working at one of these haunted attraction type places. I love them honestly, but they don't translate well into a movie. So before we go on, here is some info on Hallow's End. Released on October 21st, 2003. Hallow's End is an American horror movie by Hallow's End Studios.
Oh,
Yeah, that
wow.
should tell you a lot right there. I couldn't find a budget for for this one, but I estimate it's about $1,000 and a Walmart gift card. I couldn't find anything on how much it made either, but if it's more than the dollar I spent on it, I'm going to be very surprised. It doesn't have a critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, but it does have an audience score. Care to guess what it is?
Less than 10?
Well, it's actually 14%. And that is way too
Wow.
generous because I've seen a lot better movies get much lower scores than that.
Apparently somebody gives passing marks for boobs.
Well, yeah, we're going to get to that for sure.
In which case, come on, man. They're just boobs. They're not that special.
Yes, you keep telling yourself that. Now, as for the plot, 8 college students become trapped in an annual haunted house when an ancient spell turns them into their Halloween costumes. By night's end, the survivors will have to take one final stand against ghouls, ghosts, there are no ghosts in this movie, zombies, and vampires. So, yeah, Mike, does that description sound accurate to you for the most part?
It sounds a lot more interesting than how it turned out.
Yeah.
And it also sounds like we've seen this before, but better.
Yes. Well, I actually have it in my notes right here. This is like you took the first Halloween episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, gave it 1/30th the budget, got a student filmmaker to redo it, and then took a giant dump on it. So, this was actually filmed in a real haunted attraction called the Boneyard in Richland Hills, Texas. And apparently it started in the late 90s and ran up until Halloween of last year, 2016.
Oh, shit. They buried the boneyard?
Yeah, when I checked because there is a website included in the on the DVD.
And in the movie.
Yeah, I think it comes up in the credits, right? So I checked it
No,
out.
also
and,
when they're walking out of the haunted house at the end, it shows the name, The Boneyard. Visit us at www.theboneyard.org. It's on that big sign painted in blood.
Oh yeah, see,
They
you
included
watched
the
movie.
website.
You've watched the movie more recently than I did, so this is
Yeah.
this is fresh in your mind. But yeah, I checked it out, and apparently, like the last update to the website was in 2016. I actually went on to see if you could still buy tickets if tickets were available, and they said that it's closed for the 2017 season.
Oh.
Or closed for the 2016 season, I should say. So yeah, I guess that's the end of the Boneyard.
Which, were you going to tell them?
Well, I was just going to say, like, as a haunted house attraction, I'm sure it was fine. Just don't make a movie about it.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell them that was one of the working titles for this podcast.
Oh, yeah. Originally, when we decided we were going to do this podcast, we had a list of possible names, and one of the working titles, like Mike said, was actually The Boneyard. But we decided against that. Why did we decide that, Mike?
Well, I guess we didn't want to compete with the gay dating podcast.
Yeah, it was something like that. It sounded a little too conspicuous.
And like with that name, I thought people would expect the podcast to begin with a boom, 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 boom. Hey, welcome to the Boneyard.
So, yeah, this is. I don't even know how to describe this movie. It's got a very Hallmark made-for-TV movie feel to it, but not really, like, because it's a little more risque than one of those movies would be, because it did involve like some very like gratuitous nude scenes, and yeah, some language that you're not going to find on the Hallmark Channel either. So.
Wait, Hallmark has a channel?
I think so, or, I see it anyway. I think I see enough of them that they probably do have their own channel.
Do you give someone like a post-it note saying like, Channel 57, 10:30, And then when they turn it on that time, Happy Father's Day.
Oh.
You just buy ad space on. You just like have your channel. You have your card air on that channel at that time. Happy belated Father's Day, Jeff.
Okay, so Mike, I know you can't wait to talk about this movie in detail, so why don't we jump right into it? I'm going to let you kick it off. Tell me the first thing that you liked about this movie, and I know this isn't easy, but go for it.
This thing has like two sets of credits. The first one seemed very nice, like a nice taste of what's to come. Then it shows this weird black mass opening, like something gets summoned, and we get some kills because something got summoned. Best part that I liked is that like everybody seems surprised that they're being slaughtered by this thing. Like, it's almost as if demons from hell are kind of evil.
Yeah, how about that? What, this summoning a demon didn't work out well for us? Imagine.
You mean we didn't get like pussy and magic floating powers? Like, oh no, this isn't what we were told.
In my experience, that rarely happens when you summon a demon.
And then we get a second set of credits, which are considerably less. It's almost as if like someone took the guy that created video games for Captain Crunch CDs back in the late 2000s and had him do the credits for this movie.
Oh man, that was a thing, wasn't it? In like the early 2000s, like you get free games in cereal boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird, man.
Yeah, I remember my sister like had me install like Captain Crunch and the Crunch Olympics, where you have to train like this koosh ball thing, and you train them to like run and jump and gather Captain Crunch pieces. It was awesome. Okay as far as free games go.
I'm sure kids enjoyed it. Okay, so you liked and did not like the credits.
I liked the first set of credits. The second set of credits were terrible. Oh, okay. And then it had this weird misleading scene, which, if the rest of the movie was like this, it would have been good. Like, it did have a nice black mass opening. And then they just did the whole, hey, let's add tension by flicking the lights on and off. So they started doing something good and immediately fucked it up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so for my first one is that I said that this movie actually made me want to go to some haunted attractions. Like, I like doing that in Halloween, going to the nearest one to me is called the Halloween Haunt, and it's at Canada's Wonderland, which is just this huge amusement park. And for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights every October, they shut down like a lot of the rides. Most of the rides are still going, like the bigger ones, but some of the smaller ones are closed down. They've actually have these tents that pop up almost like circus tents. They turn them into the standard like haunted mazes and things like that, but each one has a different theme. And some are pretty generic. Like there's a lot of it doesn't matter what kind of details they put into it because it's kind of too dark to see. But some they actually do a really good job. The latest one that I went to, they actually had this place set up. They called it Club Blood, and it was basically it looked like a scene from like one of the Blade movies. Like they actually did like a dance club for vampires. So they've got like you're wandering through it, while they've got like all the actors playing as like vampires, dancing around each other, covered in blood. It actually has a bar with like bodies hung upside down with like tubes in their necks connected to the taps on the bar. That's pretty good. Like, there's not a lot of people. Like most of them have people jumping out at you and scaring you and things like that, the usual thing. But this actually has the actors like not doing that, just playing their parts, like being like vampires at a club.
Huh.
So they get an A+ for atmosphere for sure. So this actually did put me in the mood for this. Like I did appreciate the whole haunted house type of thing. Like I said, I just don't think that it's worthy enough to make a movie, to base it on a movie. So what do you got for your next one?
Okay, 30 minutes in, and we have already seen some hot Asian booty. and a tender lesbo love scene.
Yes, sir, we did.
And the way that this was filmed, like, I'm pretty sure this guy at least filmed or directed porn.
It led into it, didn't it? Even though you didn't see much besides besides the girls topless. It had the lead in, like, the exact same type of beginning you would think of in a higher scale porn, I guess is the best way to describe it.
And it's also the film quality itself. Like, I don't know if it's the frame rate or the type of film used, but it genuinely looked, even throughout the rest of the movie, it looked like it was the exact same type of filming a porno has.
Yeah. Yeah, it had serious porn tones to it. I mean, other than the obvious lesbian makeout session that was going on screen, but, like, just the actual look of it, for sure. And I didn't write that down because I knew you were going to, so save some space.
It's good to know that we can trust each other to pick up the slack.
I was just like, Mike always got the credits in the nudity, so I'll just leave those off. Except for my second and actual final like. Actually, my second and final like involves the credits. Not the look of the font or anything like that, but the end credits, which includes special thanks to a weird assortment of businesses. These things include Red Bull, Budweiser, because there was some pretty obvious Budweiser product placement at the beginning of this movie, something called Hot Damn Tamales, and finally, the Texas Christian University. I'm not sure what they supplied for the movie, but there it was. But let me tell you, if the Texas Christian University has anything to do with what was indicated in this movie, those are my kind of Christians.
Yeah, finally the cool Christians. It's about time those guys showed up.
Because holy shit, like I'm really confused about what they supplied. Were they did they just donate money to the production, or like did they supply the extras, or what? I
think they supplied the lesbians.
Ah, that must be it.
And speaking of credits, there was a clip I sent you. They had two excellent band names. The music in this was kind of good, I think. And well, it's good in a relative sense.
I'll talk about that later. You go ahead.
Okay, the first group that shows up is, they have a song called Farm Boy, and it's written by the Fluffers Union. That band is golden, but courtesy of Chocolate Johnson Records. The Fluffers Union. I mean, what would their demands be? We demand 10-minute breaks, breath mints,
some latex gloves,
and vodka to get the taste out.
And what was it? There was another band name as well that made me laugh.
Oh, you mean the singers of Dream a While, Velvet Love Box?
That was the one, Velvet Love Box. So we got Chocolate Johnson and Velvet Love Box.
No, Fluffers Union.
Fluffers Union and the Velvet Love Box, yes.
And then the John Evans band, not a very auspicious name, but their label is Shake a Bush Music.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, the credits on this there's something. But I got three quick ones. One is a line of dialogue where the woman she wants to visit the haunted house, and her boyfriend wants to get a little, something before they go in. She goes, "Come on, I want to get in." And he says, "So do I, baby." Yeah. And he's got this southern drawl to him. Well, it is Texas, so I guess it's not that fake. And then, overall, I like the Asian girl. she's down to bang anytime. She gets naked in a scene, even though we don't get, like, you'd have to be very quick with the pause button to see any nipples.
And it's like, yeah, there's 3 girls that get naked in this thing, and you know that because that must be where the entire movie's budget went, because I hope they didn't do it for free. I hope they didn't appear in this piece of crap and not get paid for getting naked in it. And
okay, boss, we got the it cost $30,000, but we got the chicks to make out with each other, and we got the Asian girls to show our ass. $30,000? That's half of our budget. How are we going to recuperate that? We can't have the girls like going down on each other. What the hell did you do? How are we going to?
You say $30,000, half the budget? Like, that would mean that it had a budget of $60,000. You're giving this movie way too much credit. There is no way this thing had $60,000 for a budget.
Then the guy would be like, we can't even release this in theaters if they got the chicks doing too much stuff. I mean, how are we going to recuperate our losses? Well, we could sell the excess footage to Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, topical. Okay.
And the last is the when they brought in that jack-o'-lantern, it looked good. Like, it looked like a demented, terrifying jack-o'-lantern.
I mean, yeah, it did, but once again, this is something I can go to the seasonal department, the Halloween section at Walmart, and buy.
Yeah, well, it's letting you know how this movie is. Like, all these likes are relative. And it had a really nice creepy book. Like, good staining on it. It looked like, well, it was a really thin book. It was more like a... What's that thing that's like a really small book?
Like a ledger or something?
Yeah, it was like a Ledger of the Damned.
Yeah.
And I'm all out of likes.
Yeah, me too. That was literally it for, like, I couldn't force any more likes. Like, that was the only thing that I could say. Like, the sponsors made me laugh, and that it put me in the mood to go to an actual, like, haunted attraction. That was it. It's like, yeah, I was watching it, and I was like, I think I should buy a ticket for Halloween Haunt this weekend. But, yeah, so that was it for me. Okay, so didn't have many likes, but my dislikes list is a little more full. So, first of all, I got to start off with the effects and props. Because, Jesus Christ. Okay, obviously this thing is low budget. I mean, you're not expecting something too great. But there's a reason why I said, at my first note in this movie, I said, oh, Spirit of Halloween, the movie. It's because it looks like all their props came from the Spirit of Halloween. Like one of these, like, seasonal Halloween stores that just pop up every October. And it just looked stupid. Like, I understand, like, the part when they're doing a haunted house, like, they're just going to use whatever props you can find for a haunted house. But when you get to the point where it's actually supposed to be horror scenes happening, like real horror, people are turning into their costumes, it just looked terrible. Like, I mean, it's a low-budget production, and I'm not expecting miracles, but it's no excuse. Some of my favorite horror movies are low budget. I mean, there's a big difference between looking cheap and looking stupid. And these looked stupid. And they try to cover it up. Like, the first scene, it's supposed to be, people are supposed to be massacred by some kind of demon. I'm still not even sure what the hell would happen in that opening scene. But they tried to cover up the piss poor job of their effects by turning on a strobe light for some reason. Like, what the hell? Bad, cheap-looking props and a strobe light effect and a fog machine. I want to see those in front of my house on Halloween after I decorate for trick-or-treaters, not in a fucking movie.
Oh, it's pretty terrible. Like, there was one of the girls gets killed, and then she starts attacking people after she got bit by a vampire. They're just like, she didn't get bit, but she didn't turn into a vampire, though. What is she? And they had to stumble around to figure out what she was. Like, a zombie? A corpse? Like, that's how bad her costume was.
Yeah, and...
She just looked like a nurse. Bam.
Exactly. And, like, that's another thing, too, when it came to the effects. Like, they're so inconsistent when it came to transformations. Because one guy's dressed in, like, a cheap, like, pirate costume that you could buy at any place on Halloween. But when he turns into this what the makers of this movie thought was a realistic looking pirate. But now everyone else, didn't they just like kind of like turn into like and then again it's the vampire because she's dressed as a vampire, you know, she's wearing black, has her face paled, has some fake fangs, but then she turns into something that's like, I don't even know what to call it, some kind of spider creature, I thought it was.
Yeah, like she already looked like a sexy vampiress.
Yeah. So why would she look any different when she changed? And then there's the zombie lady who you would think, okay, she looks like somebody that's dressed as cheaply dressed as a zombie. So when she turned, you think that they would like up the gore, make it look just a little more extreme, like a little more dead, decayed, whatever like that. She didn't change at all. She looked exactly the same.
Yeah, get some Walking Dead effects in this bitch.
So, and I think pretty much everyone else, like, just like, oh, we're going to peel your face, put some blood on you, and there you go. Doesn't matter what costume you're wearing, we'll just make you look like a dead person.
And make sure to grunt a lot.
Exactly. So, yeah. I don't know who the the makeup effects people were in this, but screw you guys, you're terrible. Stop, please. Okay, so how about you? What do you got for your dislike?
Well, to get into a little bit more detail, the titles introducing the people's names look like TV movie of the week titles. Oh, yeah. It's like if it was made by me trying to figure out Adobe Premiere version 1. This is what I would submit and go, well, it took 3 days, but I finally did it.
Yes. They look like they were done like something I would have done on a college PowerPoint presentation or something.
It's like, look, it spins, then it pops to the front, and then it slides away, and it all does it in 2 seconds. How awesome is that? I am a techno wizard.
Yep.
And then when they get the book, you got Pumpkin Jack saying like, hey, that book seems dangerous. Like, based on what? That it's written in like Proto-Germanic? and this high school girl is way too literate in like Bardic German.
Mm-hmm. I think they're college kids, but I mean, you know, splitting hairs there still.
Yeah, like she does not come off as someone who reads.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that brings me to my next dislike, which I thought was just such a stupid thing because the whole reason why this curse takes over the haunted house is because somebody has to read from the book, read it out loud.
Oh, that's how all magic curses work.
Exactly. But we've seen this already. They had to have somebody that actually did a few classes in ancient languages to read even like a minuscule part of the book. Like she's telling them in English what it means when they talk about like Satan and everything and the whole ritual kiss and all this stuff. But how does the curse get unleashed? You'd think that she's going to be the one to unleash it. No. The curse gets unleashed because some drunk idiot starts reading from the book, like not in English, reading it in whatever language it's written in. He gets hammered and just walks out into the party.
Hey there, folks. Infernus Dominus Anima Domini.
Exactly. I'm like, so is this guy, like, you know, I know that there's people, I've seen it beforehand, people that all of a sudden when they get drunk, they're suddenly, for some reason, better at something that they can't do when they're sober. But this guy's, like, this guy's drunk power is being able to translate ancient Sumerian.
My dad told me my grandpa was the same way, like my mom's dad. When my dad was hanging out with him, he went to the bar, and when he came out, he could drive better than when he got there.
Yeah.
Still this guy, yeah, the Sumerian drunk savant.
Like, I don't understand it. I had a couple of Budweisers, and all of a sudden, all these funny Winding characters made sense.
Ralof for taking Cthulhu.
So, yeah, what do you got next?
There were way too many people eager to go driving with drunk douchebag Dan.
Oh, Dan, you mean asshole Dan, which I, in my notes, said looks like discount Andrew Garfield?
And the guy, his nemesis, the protagonist in this, it looks like Andrew Garfield. Tom Holland, yeah, so it's battle of the discount Spider-Man.
Tom Holland's a great Spider-Man. What are you talking about?
Oh, he was excellent. Dude, these are discount versions of the Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah. Okay, right, yes. Okay, sorry, that makes sense.
There were so many problems with this movie, and then Dan we can't even get off Dan without in prepping everyone. He tells everyone to get back to work, and then it shows them assembling the haunted house to a porn groove remix of Dan saying "Get back to work" over this funky bass line,
which leads to my next dislike: the music, because first of all, you got this little, I don't even know what to describe it, like this little techno groove track with little samples of Dan saying "get back to work" in there, and I'm like, I think this is what this director thinks is rap.
Yeah, this is more evidence that this movie was directed by a porn director.
Oh yeah.
The bass line, the tender lesbo scenes, the film type, the frame rate, everything screams this is done by a pornographer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, totally. I agree. And, I mean, the music, okay, I'm not going to bash the music at the end. Like, they actually did have some real music, some, like, nice little southern rock, like, not by anybody famous or anything, but, I mean, honest musicians.
Yeah, like some genuine blues artists.
Yeah, some, like I said, like some nice, like, classic Texas rock. But,
like Chocolate Johnson.
But the music soundtrack, like the actual sound, not the soundtrack, but the actual like setting music for all the scenes was freaking terrible. The most generic, like just synth techno type of generic, what people consider horror music. Just absolutely terrible. But yeah, by far the worst offender was "Get Back to Work" by Dan and the Assholes.
This is the type of music that was rejected for the Mortal Kombat 2 soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so besides the music and the stupid props, I guess next thing I have to mention, since we've mentioned a few characters already, let's talk about the acting in this thing. I don't know.
Well, what acting?
I don't know if I've seen worse acting, to be quite honest. I'm trying so hard to think of something that might have had worse acting. The only thing I can think of is maybe some of the Ed Wood movies. Maybe that might
not
be a stretch
here. Definitely the worst we've had on this podcast yet.
Oh yeah. This is the worst acting of any movie we've seen so far. Like,
and it's going to be it's going to hold on to that title for a long time.
Yeah, and like I'm going to say the same kind of to the same. It's kind of the same thing I said about the effects. I mean, I know this is low budget. I'm not expecting miracles. Of course, there's going to be bad acting. But Jesus Christ, could you find some people that would actually try at least? This is like, the tables in this fucking movie weren't as wooden as the actors.
Yeah, money apparently can't buy effort.
No. You know, like, the girls in this movie, like, there's 3 girls in the movie, you know the only reason they got the job is because they agreed to go naked.
The Asian girl, I think, showed the most acting skill. Yeah. That's not to say great acting skill, but I will say she was the best actress.
Actually,
there.
Yes. And if you look up on the actors in this in IMDb, of the female actors, she's actually had the most successful career. She's actually been in a few things. She was even in one of the seasons of American Horror Story.
Shit! Wow, who figures that the good actor would be successful?
Yeah. So, and I think the guy that played the lead character, I think he's been in a few things as well, but none of them are winning any Oscars or anything. But yeah, like for the most part, the acting was very rough. Okay, so what do you got for your next one?
Okay, second last one. This was written by a guy that worked at a haunted house for a few summers and thought, you know what? I got a screenplay here.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is written by a guy that worked at a haunted house for a couple of Octobers and then came home from work one night and turned on the TV and Buffy the Vampire Slayer was on.
Wait a second. What if we combine these two things?
Yep.
How could it... This is like chocolate and peanut butter.
That's my theory.
It's gotta come out tasting like a Reese cup.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, no, this tastes like something else that's brown. This is bad. This is bad.
So, do you have anything else on your dislikes?
Yep, just one. Just when the zombie fight was starting to look good, like some actual battle choreography between zombie farmer with the shovel and not Tom Holland, then he gets into a grappling fight, throws away, like catches the zombie shovel, throws it, and I'm like, all right, now he's gonna stab the zombie. No, he throws away the shovel and his pitchfork, or hay rake as you like to call it, and he puts up his dukes, but instead of his fists like close to his body to allow some punching, he holds his fist out. Like, why? He's put up his dukes with his fist fully extended so the guy can grab it and bite it, but not that he could actually punch someone because he's got no recoil left. So that just fucking pissed me off. Like, do you not really know how to, like, make a hero kill a random bad guy and make it look adequate?
I had in my notes, so this is your first gardening equipment fight, huh? You obviously didn't grow up around my siblings.
And I'm out of dislikes.
Yeah, the only one I have left, and because, I mean, seriously, we could talk all freaking night about what's wrong with this movie, but the only thing I had left, I'll just sum it up with, I don't like the fact that I wasted $1 on this movie. So, yeah, that's our likes and dislikes. I'm afraid to ask because for certain movies we have added a third column because there's things that don't fit into either a like or a dislike column. So they're things that just perplexed us, things we saw that had no explanation, came out of nowhere. We like to call it the what the fuck column. Mike, I'm going to have to ask, do you have something for the what the fucks?
Oh boy, it's a 4-pack of what the fucks.
Well, man,
the first, they open the book and you see what it appears to be a cock dragon. A dragon with a long neck, and at the head is a cock.
Yep.
And they go on to talk about Satan being trifurcated, meaning he's got 3 cocks, one for each hole.
Okay, I gotta ask you, when they brought that up, did you think that was going to come back somewhere in the movie, like that was going to have some relevance?
I thought we were going to see like a hentai level tentacle rape scene.
I thought so too. As soon as he said it, I'm like, oh no, please, no, don't tell me you're going to go there.
Like, I thought that's what would have happened. Like, that could have, like, they could have shown a second take of the summoning scene and show exactly that's what happened.
I honestly thought this is what was going to go down when we started getting a lesbian scene. Because that was the second time when I was like, oh no, please don't tell me this is what's going to happen. But no, it's never brought up again.
No, I thought this was going to turn into like La Blue Girl, the movie, but nope. And then Discount Pirate, he walks up to this coffin where this girl is trapped by a 15-pound at best paper lid. Mm-hmm. And he thinks that she's messing around, and then for some reason he decides to It doesn't show exactly what happens because he walks up to the camera and then he starts screaming, and then we see blood coming out of his wrist. And like we're only led to believe that he lost his hand by shoving it into the pumpkin's mouth and the pumpkin bit it.
Yeah. I'm like, you do understand, my note right there is, you do understand you don't have to shove your hand into the pumpkin to pick it up, right?
Yeah, you don't pick it up by the candle.
Yeah.
And I'm already halfway done. What about you?
I don't have any what the fucks. This entire movie was a what the fuck to me, because, like, what the fuck am I watching? So I didn't even bother to write anything down.
All right, then, everybody, they meet into this room with Farmer Steve, then the lights go out, and then Steve appears disemboweled on the table. Like, in 3.5 seconds, he got killed by something that nobody saw there, and then they all run away. And then Steve attacks Tom, and his guts aren't ripped out, his shirt is fine, it's not even bloody. It's like his massive death had nothing, like, and the worst, like, Karen had to get killed before she turned into her zombie thing, and Steve had to get killed before he turned into his psychobilly farmer thing. Like,
Yeah.
like, why did some people have to die to turn into their costumes while other people just turned right off the bat?
Yep.
That was just, like, what the fuck? And then finally, when Jill and Tom, I'm just surmising what their names are because I don't fucking care. The living lesbian and Tom, they make their way to the break room, and she grabs the Ledger of Doom and says, "You're going to want to see this book," without opening it. Like, only after she opens it and says, like, "Oh, there's pictures with everybody scratched out but us," and so, like, did somebody, like, not tell her you have to open the book to realize something's interesting about it first before you say that line?
Mm-hmm.
It's like she read her lines properly, but nobody taught her timing.
Nobody taught any of these people anything, man. You think these people actually took acting lessons or anything?
Well, I guess, like, the only acting lessons they got was when the director was making porns.
Yeah. The only direction they've ever gotten was, no, really, get in there.
All right, now, aim your booty at the camera. All right, now slide your pants on nice and slow so people can work that pause button.
Okay, so was that it?
A lot of what the fucks.
Yeah.
Because, again, we could be here all night. I think this may be our shortest wrap-up.
It is. And the only thing I got to say is that if you come across a movie called Hallow's End, which has a tagline where shadows come alive for some reason, because has nothing to do with the movie whatsoever.
Yeah, there's no shadows in this movie
Nope.
that come alive.
Avoid at all costs. Do not watch it. Believe me, you're just going to waste your time. I can't believe that I've watched this. I can't believe that I actually sent this to you to watch it, for you to watch it, because I apologize. This was totally on me. I hope I never have to watch this thing again. And in fact, you know what? I've got my DVD right here. Get out, you asshole. Come here. You hear this? It won't even break right. It's bending instead of breaking, but I'm making sure I don't accidentally play this thing ever again. There. Burn in hell, you bastard.
The power of taste compels you.
Oh my god, this piece of crap. I can't believe I spent $1 on this.
It doesn't even break.
It didn't even break right. I was hoping it was going to shatter, but it just bent.
They used second-grade plastics that didn't even harden for the disc.
I was hoping it was going to be a little dramatic, you know. I got mad, picked up this disc, I was going to snap it, so you hear this nice, like, snapping, shattering sound, but no, instead it just bent.
It sounds like a crushed water bottle.
Ugh. I can't even die right.
And then, like, Pumpkin Jack shows up at the end, Like, after it turns out... Oh, yeah, we forgot to mention the plot twist.
Yeah.
We forgot to mention the plot twist. Turns out, even though everything was orchestrated by someone who wasn't the one that read the book, but yet apparently they made a deal by kissing Satan's ass, literally. Like she says, I made a deal with the devil and I kissed his backside. Mm-hmm. So apparently you don't need to like read the book or light up a curse. You just have to find Satan, give him a little rim job, and then you will get what you want, all your friends dead, and your boyfriend hating you.
Yep. And Pumpkin Jack was the character that actually introduced the kids to the book that started this whole curse. We probably should have mentioned that. Pumpkin Jack was basically like the live-action version of Scruffy from Futurama.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So...
Got that book right there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. So, apparently he just goes around, like, bringing this book to people, like, on Halloween, and just causing all kinds of havoc with it.
This guy could have made a series of movies about Pumpkin Jack. Like, just bring, like, it's kind of like an evil version of The Littlest Hobo. He goes to a small town, brings the book, spreads a little, thins the herd.
He just goes around, like, every Halloween, shows up in a different place, and just, like, gets people to read the book and cause all kinds of Halloween havoc.
Or maybe any other holiday.
Oh.
Who knows if he's just limited to Halloween?
Oh, so you mean actually show up, like, on different days and cause, like, mayhem related to whatever holiday it is?
Well, sure, we saw these people tearing each other apart during a Halloween party, but I'm sure that stress comes during any real holiday event. We surmise what adventures Mr. Jack gets up to the rest of the year on this week's It Came from the Cutting Room Floor. Man, this Easter's gonna rock! Easter Jack gave me this magic spell book.
Oh my god! Everyone working in the Easter house turned into their costumes!
Why was everyone dressed like rabbits?
Well, it is Easter. I mean, that guy's dressed like an egg. And then there's that guy walking around the fountain forgiving every one of their sins. Is that wine in your water bottle?
Sure is. I don't know how it got there, and I ain't asking why.
Wow. Look at those rabbits hump.
Mm-hmm. And then there was St. Paddy's Day.
Oh my god! I told you not to read Clover Jack's magic book. And everyone in the parade is a violent, drunk asshole that thinks they're Irish.
I didn't read the book yet. And of course, he returns every Halloween. But what if people are getting along this year?
Hey, Pumpkin Jack gave a book to the sorority house, and after reading it, everyone turned into their costumes.
Oh my god, how bad is it? What did they turn into?
Slutty everything!
Woo! More like Pimpin' Jack, know what I'm saying?
Oh, awesome. So, I like how he gets a different name, too, for each day.
Well, it would just stand out otherwise.
Yeah, I guess
it's like Happy Valentine's Day. I'm Pumpkin Jack.
Yeah.
Like, no, you got to be Cupid Jack.
So, it's Valentine's Day. Why are you called Pumpkin Jack? Because shut up, that's why.
Because I serve my Dark Lord.
Okay, so, Mike, this must have been a tough decision for you, but it's part of the show, so we got to go with it. What do you have for us in regards to a certain segment that you like to do?
Oh, you mean my kill of the week?
That's the one.
Man, so much of this fucking sucks. Like, this pirate guy gets killed with his own pistol.
Yeah.
Which, you think, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, they can only be killed by their own devices.
Yeah, that would have actually been like a good way to do this thing. Like, if each one of the people that turn had some kind of prop or like something that was attached to them that actually killed them,
Or that they can only be killed by their character's weaknesses. Like, the zombie could only be killed with a shot to the head. The vampire only a stake to the heart. Mm-hmm. The pirate can only be killed with his own musket.
Yeah.
But no. Like, the farmer guy, again, he gets disemboweled. And then shows up again with a perfectly clean shirt and re-emboweled. And then the pirate guy shows up with this farmer guy. He's not got a hole in him. He's not like zombie pirate. He's just like, I just like faking when I got shot. Arr.
I swear that came out in 2003, right? When did Pirates of the Caribbean come out?
I don't know, 2005 maybe?
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because remember, like, at the time when Pirates of the Caribbean came out, like, pirates were such a big deal during that period?
Pirates were kind of cool, and I say kind of.
Yeah, you use that description loosely. But I was wondering if that was the time, was that the reason why they just decided to, like, throw some random pirate in this haunted house with, like, they got, like, zombies and witches and all kinds of ghouls, and then there's a pirate.
Yeah, that's awful. And, like, you think every person that looks like they get killed doesn't in the way you think. Like, Dan, you think asshole Dan, he got pirate shanked in the heart. No, he's still alive later because he has to be killed by Tom for some reason. And then you think, oh, well, when for some reason, still not determined, all the zombies turned on their witch mistress. It never explains that.
The villain got defeated because of plot convenience.
Yeah, all of her friends are just like, oh, wait a second, you made us kill each other, fuck you. Arrgh. And they all swarm her in this terribly slow, non-dramatic pylon. And she doesn't even get killed because Pumpkin Jack grabs the book and she's like, why? So she's like injured, dying, but not killed.
Hey, Pirates of the Caribbean was released in May of 2003, so about 5 months before this movie.
You think that was enough time for them to rush? Well, it wouldn't have been a reason to rush it.
Well, I mean, this movie was written, filmed, and edited in the course of a weekend, I'm pretty sure. So, I'm serious. Like, I am in full belief that the only reason why there was a pirate in here is because that was the year that all of a sudden pirates were, like, the big thing. Fuck this movie.
I'd have to say the kill of the week goes to the demon at the beginning of the movie. He kills a bunch of cultists. We don't know why. We don't know who they are. We never see what the demon shows up to next. It could have been neat if it turns out the demon was Pumpkin Jack himself.
Yep.
That would have been a good twist. So it doesn't belong in this movie.
Escape because he couldn't find where the exit was due to the strobe light.
Yeah, so I guess I'm going to go with possibly Pumpkin Jack killing all of the cultists who summoned him because it's the closest thing that makes sense, and it's somebody that definitely gets killed in fucking this movie.
Yeah, that sounds right. I think you picked the best turd floating in the toilet.
Oh, well, my second runner-up would have been that guy that got killed in the parking lot for no fucking reason, and we never get to see his body show up staged anywhere else.
Well, I thought, yeah, that was weird. I think he might have been like one of the, because remember in the parking lot when the people started getting attacked by zombies that came out of nowhere, one of them came out of the ground? I think that might have been him.
You mean the guy that didn't look like the guy that didn't look like Zombie Dexter?
Yeah. So, I think
that part was
I don't
fucked
know,
up. The
man.
guy looks at the camera.
By that time, I had lost all interest in this movie.
Yeah, a guy like sits up, looks at the camera, smiles, turns to the side. It's like,
Yeah, it was terrible. Just avoid it. So, yeah, Mike. So if somebody asked you if you ever saw a movie called Hallow's End, what do you say to them?
Regrettably so.
Mm-hmm. It's a piece of shit, and I feel bad because this is our last movie of the month. What a way to end off our movie series. But at the very least, folks, this may be our last movie episode for this month, but it is not the last episode for October, because we do have one more coming up, and it's much better. We didn't talk about a movie in particular, but we did have a couple of friends with us, and we talked about some of our favorite Halloween things. We're going to have that one for you next week, just before Halloween, and I think you're going to enjoy it. We had so much fun recording it. We had two friends with us, Robin and Rick. Robin, from our Bubba Hotep episode. He did a great job helping us out with that. And one of my oldest friends, somebody I've known forever, my friend Rick, joined us because he is a Halloween fanatic and could not wait to get on the show and talk about that. So it was just a fun time. So I think that's going to make up for this episode, at least for the crappy movie anyway.
Well, the good news is that it only leaves room for better Halloweens that aren't Halloween for next Halloween.
There you go. And so, guys, that is all the movie coverage we have for this episode, but we are not done just yet because we want to hear from you. Now that our Halloween movie series is done, we are going to be going back to taking some movie suggestions from you guys. So, if you have a movie suggestion, you have a question, comment, you want to, cuss at us because you went out and watched this movie after hearing us talk about it, and it was even worse than we had made it out to be, well, you got a few options of getting in contact with us. You can, first of all, email us at graveyardshiftpod@gmail.com. You can get us on Twitter at GYS_horrorpod. And, of course, you can check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/thegraveyardshiftpod. If you're able to make a monetary donation to the show so that we can buy better movies to watch, you can do so at www.patreon.com/graveyard. Other than buying better movies, all the money goes towards the upkeep and promotion of the show. And it gives you access to some exclusive Patreon bonus content. Once a month, we post a brand new Patreon exclusive episode so that you guys that support us with your dollars can get to enjoy us even more. Of course, not everyone has the money to give us money, but you can still help us out a ton by going onto iTunes, rate, review, subscribe. In the long run, that's what's going to help us out the most. And if you don't have access to iTunes, you can do the same on Google Play and Stitcher. If neither one of those options are available to you, you can still help us out by doing exactly what you're doing right now, listening to us, whichever way you get access to us, and share us either on social media or just by word of mouth. Just tell anyone you think would be interested in listening to a couple of guys talk about horror movies. Let them know about our podcast. Now, speaking of podcasts, Mike, if somebody wanted to hear more from you, how could they go about doing that?
Well, you can check out playingwithpowerpodcast.com or facebook.com/playingwithpower to hear me and my friends talk about Nintendo Power Magazine. And we also throw in a show called The Taste Test, where me and other friends actually play some of these old games that we didn't before. And we will be doing a Halloween grab bag, as usual, and we'll be having a special guest.
Is it Pumpkin Jack?
Oh, fuck no.
Because you know what's going to happen. If he's on the show, he's going to read from his magic book, and everyone's going to turn into their video game characters.
His magic instruction manual.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure whoever you have on as a guest will be a fine, upstanding, hilarious, and handsome young man. So if you're a fan of old Nintendo games, or you had a subscription to the Nintendo Power Magazine back in the day, then you're going to enjoy this podcast. It does get a little raunchy, but, that comes with the territory because, what's dirtier than classic 8-bit video games, I guess. So, Mike, are you sad that our Halloween that's not Halloween is officially done?
I'm thoroughly spent. So I can't wait to get back to my regular grind of just one movie a week rather than about 5 or 6 movies in a month like we've done this month.
Yeah, it was a
I'm
lot.
I'm looking forward to a little bit of regularity, and hopefully by next Halloween I'll be able to talk about how awesome Stranger Things season 2 was.
Yes. That's
We
it.
might
We
might even have to talk about that beforehand.
Yeah. Maybe next Halloween we'll do a TV show episode. A TV show month. Who knows? Yeah. So, guys, thank you so much. We really do hope that you enjoyed our Halloween that's not Halloween series. And don't give us too much grief for not actually doing the Michael Myers movies, because we do love those movies. We actually got a couple comments saying like, "Oh, I can't believe you guys are not doing Michael Myers movies." So, we love them. They're some of our favorite movies, but like I said, we strive to be different. And
we are doing them. It's just going to cost you $1.
yeah, we did cover them for our Patreon sponsors, but maybe we'll do something, cover them in a different way later on down the road for our regular listeners.
Or like a bonus episode where we talk about the franchise as a whole.
Yeah, maybe. Well, yeah, because sometimes we like to switch things up. We just don't. We love what we're doing here. We love our format, but sometimes just so that we don't get bored ourselves, we want to switch it up every once in a while. So we'll see. But it's something to talk about for down the road. Guys, be on the lookout, once I said, for our special Halloween episode that's going to be released on the 30th. It's going to be a good one. We had tons of fun doing it. It was a great conversation with Mike and I and a couple of friends. And we think you're really going to enjoy it. And thank you so much for sticking with us for our Halloween That's Not Halloween movie series. Check out the movies. All in all, we joke around a lot. Some of them were pretty bad, but at least one of them is good because it was so bad. So.
I would rather recommend Trick or Treat 1982.
Oh yeah,
over this one.
Oh yeah, I would recommend checking it out anyway, just so you can have a laugh at how bad it is. That one was funny bad. This one, Hallow's End, was just stupid bad. Stay away from that.
Boring bad.
All the other 3, yeah, check those out. They're worthwhile. Trick or Treat from 2007 is amazing. Trick or Treat from 1986 is actually pretty good.
If you want to see a man die falling downstairs.
If you want to see a kid die for like a 2-second stunt, then yeah, check that one out. I actually posted a picture of that. Because I usually post the episode link a couple of times throughout the week leading up to the new episode. And sometimes I'll post some pictures, some screenshots from the movie, and I actually posted a screenshot of that one.
If you want to know what it's like watching a literal man die in front of you,
that movie,
for a stunt in a movie,
guys, I'm not even joking. Like, that movie is worthwhile just for that scene. Go look it up. It's on YouTube. It's going to cost you nothing. Go look it up and just check out that scene. It's just a chase through a school that ends in this guy just being launched down a flight of stairs. It is hilarious. One of the funniest things I've ever seen.
It's like School Alone.
Yeah. Just so good. So check that out. So guys, thank you again so much. I can't believe this is done. I can't believe October is nearly finished. But just one more episode to go, so be on the lookout for that one. Until then, I'm Sheldon.
And I'm Mike.
Please come see us again on The Graveyard Shift.